Okay, I'll round this up. I think we're going to be doing fine in time. I want to talk about the Annuncicom PS Touch. And actually, I have it in my hand here. If you still see my picture, I can show it. This was our new talk station we developed last year. It's a 2 mm steel product, heavy duty. It has been really well received. It represents itself really well on the desk where you talk. It has a touch screen. It has a discrete talk button, which is what customer wanted. And this product is available and shipping. We're trying to get them out as they're being ordered. It's a solution that supports either the IC paging or a simple paging solution. So quick talk about our paging solution. There's quite a few technologies out there for paging. Some people go purely SIP. I've seen paging solutions built on Dante. All of these have their disadvantages. In SIP, I need to set it up on SIP and pay all the clients for each of the speakers. In Dante, I need a more dedicated network just for that. We've concluded that our technology, IC paging, and simple paging are still having a real advantage, and we want to continue on those. However, we needed to make the hardware new. And what you see here is all the things we've done new. So we've done a new talk station, the PS Touch. We have new receiving devices with the Xstreamer M400 and the Xstreamer MPA 400. The speaker device, the IP-Former TPA. Something we'll talk about in the next training will be our new Annuncicom, which is IPAM 400 based. We're working on this, just to mention it here. Also, of course, you've learned about the paging gateway that plays into IC paging and uses the latest technology on the market available to use basically a web browser to access this solution. There is much more that we've extended. For example, we can integrate the retail player, and Davide has shown that already, as a scheduler for messages. So the retail player can register to or registers to the retail player portal, and from there I can schedule messages, bells, announcements, and even distribute over different locations. Thanks to the RTP forwarding in the retail player, we have now integrated the retail player as an element of IC paging. And that really closes the offering that we're having in terms of features required that many times include a scheduler. There is actually application descriptions on this available. I'll talk about that in a second. Here is another one where we're using the retail player, using it with the Barionet, with contact closure and local paging. So it's all about paging and scheduled messages and triggered pre-recorded messages on a standard internet, LAN infrastructure using the new Barix hardware technology. We can help even further. Giacomo has written some application description using some other tools we have of how we could even page across networks from one LAN to the other. Contact pre-sales if you need to know more about this, or as highlighted before in this presentation, go to help.barix.com. It's really worth spending a little bit of time there. We've restructured this. You find a lot of information, for example, in the knowledge base to the products. It's a truly powerful information source. Well, my presentation is actually not about IC paging and about the Annuncicom PS Touch. It is about the Annuncicom PS Touch 400 OEM. So what is this about? Well, basically what happened is we had customers seeing our talk station the 2mm steel, the sturdiness, the touch screen, saying, wow, this is cool. We need a talk station for our application. So we're not interested in IC paging or whatever, but we're interested in your hardware. We only need a bunch of these per year, but if we could buy this and then program it, that would be ultra cool. So what we've decided is to make a SDK version of the Annuncicom PS Touch. And we call it the Annuncicom PS Touch 400 OEM. It costs the same as a normal PS Touch, but it comes with a different image. It comes with our SDK development environment, Yocto Linux. It has sample code on it. You actually see that on the user interface. You can accept a call, make a call, switch a relay that it supports, just to show people what they can do with it. So what is it? It is a desktop IP intercom and paging station with touchscreen, audio interfaces, signal IOs. So for example, it has a relay or it has a digital input. You can connect a foot switch or you can connect headset. It can run off PoE and it comes with a Linux SDK for application development by OEM customers. Who is it for? That's kind of a niche market for us. It actually is for people that build products in that environment and that are keen on getting a very robust, beautiful, nicely looking talk station without having to develop it on their own. They don't have the time, they don't have the money to make a product like this on their own. Actually, our first customer for this happens to be a Swiss customer. They're called Convetia. They're making radio intercom solutions. They saw this and said, wow, this is so cool. We want to buy the hardware. We don't want to buy the software. Can we do that? And what they get is the Annuncicom PS Touch 400 OEM. It's equipped with the IPAM 400 quad-core ARM processor module. It comes with an SDK. It has digital IOs, inputs. It has a relay out. It has USB. It has audio in and out. It can run off PoE or run off power. So what you actually need to sell this, it's a bit tricky because this is not your standard AE integrator customer that says, AV integrator customer that says, yeah, we need a paging solution. This is more like the manufacturers or people that buy our IPAMs and that build their own solutions that might be interested in this. We have made a product sheet and that's basically all the customer really needs. Maybe just for your information, we're actually using an Nextion display in this device. This is an intelligent display where the content of the display is programmed into the display. You might have realized when you had a PS Touch in your hand and you started up that it doesn't take no time for the display to appear. That has a lot to do with the fact that this is not just a video screen connected to some microcontroller, but that it is actually an intelligent programmed display. Nextion provides a display with a development environment where you can build your own GUI for it, and that's what customers have to download and use. We give them sample code of how to connect between the display and the IPAM, get serial information, what happens if you press a button, how is this being sent, how is it being analyzed or used on the Linux side. If a customer wants to start developing in this, we need them to sign an NDA. So he can get the SDK. So if you have somebody interested in this, send them to us and we can answer the technology questions. So the PS Touch 400 OEM is for customers that want to develop their own talk station, but don't want to develop the hardware. If a customer says, yes, I need 20 of these in red, talk to us. It maybe costs a bit more, but we can do that. The Annuncicom PS Touch 400 OEM supports inputs and outputs that are usually demanded by these customers. So they want like a foot pedal to take a call or a headset as an option. So we support this. The unit costs the same as the PS Touch, and the customer can buy just one. We will give some volume discount for more than 100 units. Talk to sales at Barix if you need to know more about it. And the value proposition is very clear. The customer gets a high quality, sturdy, robust hardware product with all the flexibility of the Yocto Linux and Nextion development environments to make his own talk station. And I'm absolutely convinced there's a market for this product. The hard part is to find the customers. I was scrolling ISE 2 or 3 years ago when we knew we have to replace the old PS16 to find somebody who makes a talk station product that could actually be used as a base for our development for IC paging. And we just couldn't. And we invested a lot of money in developing this hardware. And I'm absolutely certain there's people interested into it. So it actually is part of our OEM offering. We offer IPAM modules for customers that develop their own products for many years. And we offer the IPAM 400 for these customers. Some things have changed. The IPAM offering either comes with the SDK and then the customer have to develop their own code using whatever's available in the internet, in the shared community, open source, or we deliver a closed solution, which is either our current firmware, so you can buy an IPAM with retail player on it, or you can buy an IPAM with SIP Opus codec on it. Or the third version is we adjust the firmware to the customer's needs. Usually we do that as a service they pay for, and then they get their module the way they want it. Typically this, for example, goes into OEM products like here on the bottom, you see a module of TOA. They're using our older IPAMs to have a SIP front end into their module, into their modular solution. There's many manufacturers out there that actually use Barix core. The next step of OEM products that we're selling are our boxes. So we have started to sell the M400 box with an SDK, for example, as an encoder or as a decoder. So we don't give them the years of knowledge and code that we've put in to make it a decoder. Then they have to buy our finished product. But there are customers out there that say, hey, I really like your box. It's really as excellent MTBF, but we want to write our own code. And we've started to sell into that market, and we gladly talk to customers who want to buy the units for that. And last but not least, I've just introduced the PS Touch 400 OEM, which is really a talk station for customer development. And it's rounding up our offering in terms of OEM products. So, you know, I have one here. It's heavy, it's robust, it makes a really great impression. Love to sell lots of them into IC paging and into simple paging, but we now can also offer these as a hardware platform for custom development to customers that want to write their own software. That's it from my side.